Hello, F Major's biggest fan here, and I'm here to bring you my 12th rant. And yes, it is going to be another SML related rant. This may be my longest rant yet, because I have a lot to talk about today. I'm gonna be talking about what's wrong with the characters, the most recent videos, and what made me unsubscribe from SML. So without further ado, let's begin. So I have been watching SML since 2015, and I found it to be entertaining back then. I did like most of the videos I watched, minus Shrek's Crappy Wish, which I previously ranted on. So yes, I was a huge SML fan, until their videos started getting less interesting for me. 2022 is the year that I have decided to unsubscribe from SML. I don't find any of the characters to be great, as pretty much every character has gotten worse in some way, and a lot of SML's recent videos have been lackluster at best. First, let's talk about the characters. Now who should I start with? Let's start off with Mario, who is now called Marvin on the show, but I'm gonna stick with Mario. He's not terrible, but almost every video starring him has either Jeffy or Black Yoshi bothering him, and yes, they did bring back Black Yoshi not too long ago, but we'll get to him later. And he can be a greedy piece of crap sometimes, like in episodes such as Mario Sells Jeffy. Now let's move on to Jeffy, who is probably the most controversial character on SML. I don't think he is the absolute worst character of SML, but he is still pretty bad. All he does is annoy Mario, even though he did so in so many other videos. In fact, he's done this since his first appearance in SML. I wish Jeffy actually improved his behavior like he said he would after the events of Jeffy's parents. I know I did something similar with E Minor in the Nope Keys Season 3 Episode 7, but still. And Rosalina, now called Rose, somehow defends Jeffy's actions for some reason. Like, why is she almost always on Jeffy's side? Is it because she thinks Jeffy is a young child or something? Well, she's wrong because he's 18 now. And speaking of that, why does Jeffy still act like he's 6 years old when he's 18? Anyways, not only does Rosalina defend Jeffy's actions even though she's not supposed to, but she is also a hypocrite sometimes. She accuses Mario of cheating on her even though she herself interacts with her ex-boyfriends too. But, who are the worst characters of SML in my opinion? That is none other than Junior and Joseph. Yeah, that's right, I hate these two jerks more than Jeffy and Rosalina. Not only do they act stupid most of the time, but they are also huge jerks to Cody. I just can't stand how jerky Junior and Joseph are nowadays. Sure, they weren't the nicest characters even in the older videos, but there are already so many videos about these two making fun of Cody. It annoys me how they are still calling Cody's mom either a pig or a whale, even though they have already done that for years. Milking these kinds of jokes over and over again is not going to make them any funnier. Instead, the jokes are going to get stale. Would it hurt to develop the characters as time goes on? And that's not even getting into how Junior treats Penelope. Junior keeps hitting on Penelope even though she clearly does not want to be with him, and that has already got old for me. I am not sure how Junior and Joseph being complete jerks to Cody is not getting old for the SML crew yet. Let's say I made over 100 episodes about E Minor getting mad over not getting to 6 and refused to develop his character even in the slightest. Wouldn't that make you wish I would try something new? Exactly, I wish SML would try something new with Junior and Joseph. Whenever we see a Junior video, almost every time, Junior comes up with stupid ideas, Joseph agrees with him. Cody tries to tell Junior that his idea is stupid, but he doesn't listen. They also make fun of Cody or his mom or get mad at him for dumb reasons. And they almost always start off with Junior saying, "So guys, what do you wanna do today?" That's a typical Junior video in a nutshell. Alright, I think I've talked enough about those two jerks, so let's move on to Cody. He's alright, I guess. I also don't like him as much as before, but he isn't bad. The reason why I said that is because I don't find him as funny as I did before, and he's pretty much a punching bag for Junior and Joseph. He deserves much better friends. And also, he now makes weird noises whenever the news comes on, which I found to be kind of cringy. Chef PP is also just okay, even though he doesn't appear in videos as much. Bowser also doesn't appear as much as before, and I think he's average too. And about Brooklyn T Guy, remember when people says that he was the best character on SML? Yeah, me too, and unfortunately, Brooklyn T Guy is also getting worse as a character to me. He sometimes adds unnecessary filler to the videos. He tells long and boring stories that add pretty much nothing to the videos. His stories are animated by Nintendo, and his animations aren't very good. Considering the fact that SML makes lots of money from their videos, they could have hired a better animator. But the bad animation doesn't bother me as much as the fact that the stories are filler. Black Yoshi used to be one of my favorite characters, but even his plotlines are getting old for me. Now he's just another Jeffy. Either he asks Mario for some Call of Duty game, commits a crime, goes to jail, and begs Mario to bail him out, or does something else to annoy Mario. And his catchphrase, "Mario, please," is also getting kinda overused nowadays. And I know they can no longer use the Black Yoshi plush in their videos, but I am not a big fan of the way he looks now. Moving on to Mr. Goodman, he was a completely different character before he became a greedy piece of crap. Now he's just a worse version of Mr. Krabs. Ever since SML started to do the house payment joke, which is another joke that they're milking dry, Goodman hasn't been the same for me. I wish they would bring the old Goodman back, but I don't see any signs of that happening. His son Richard is just a younger version of him, so I don't have anything else to say about him. Jackie Chu is another character that is just okay. Bully Bill is there just to bully Jeffy. That's pretty much his entire character. Penelope is yet another okay character. And I've also seen people talk about how much they hate Jonathan, who is Brooklyn Guy's brother, and while I'm also not a huge fan of Jonathan myself, I don't hate him as much as other people do. I find Brooklyn Guy's mom to be worse than Jonathan, because she always talks about how much she hates Brooklyn Guy. If that is how she feels about her son, then she doesn't deserve to be a mother. I don't really like Brooklyn Guy's wife Karen either. She always annoys Brooklyn Guy, similarly to how Jeffy and Black Yoshi annoy Mario. And why does she have such a loud, screechy, high-pitched voice? I've heard people say that Jonathan's voice is annoying, but I find Karen's voice to be worse than Jonathan's voice. Man, what did Brooklyn Guy ever do to deserve this kind of family? Other characters such as Shrek, Woody, and Toad hardly ever appear in the videos anymore, and two of which are some of the classic characters. I'm not sure if Toad is considered a classic character. So yes, pretty much every character in SML, aside from the classic characters, is either just okay, bad, or terrible. I think I'm done with the characters, so let's move on. Honestly, only a few of the 2022 SML videos stand out to me, as most of them are either average, boring, uninteresting, disappointing, or annoying. And some of the videos are downright terrible. Let's start off with Cody's nut allergy, which I found to be worse than Shrek's crappy wish. That's right, they actually made a video even more disgusting than Shrek's crappy wish. As if Mario drinking Shrek's crap wasn't disgusting enough, they made Cody's allergic reaction look very repulsive. And I remember when people hated the way the Cody puppet looked at first. And what makes this episode even worse is how Junior and Joseph keep giving Cody snacks with nuts in them even after being told that he was allergic to them. At least Mario drinking Shrek's crap was only in one scene. But this? I have to see Cody's disgusting allergic reaction throughout the entire video because of two jerks that claim to be Cody's friends, but are actually really terrible friends. It's like they took Shrek's crappy wish and made it into a Cody torture episode. Alright, let's move on from this episode. The next episode I want to talk about is Jeffy's 18th birthday. I liked it at first. However, after I realized that this episode had some major issues, I changed my mind about it. What were those major issues? I'm glad you asked. First of all, SML told us about 5.5 years before this episode was released that Jeffy's biological father died from a gunshot, but he is somehow still alive in this episode. So you mean to tell us that we've waited all that time for Mario to get his inheritance only for this episode to say that he's not getting it? Then what was the point of building this up if it wasn't going to happen to begin with? Not only does it make this episode worse, but it also ruins the lore of Jeffy's parents. This could have brought a huge change to SML, but no. Instead, we get a huge plot hole. I don't know why they decided to make this decision, but I wish they didn't. Are they really that hesitant to make huge changes to their show? There's another twist in this episode that's worth mentioning. After the van explodes at the end of the chase scene, it looked like Jeffy was going to be killed off, but then he appears again a few moments later. While I don't find this as much of a problem as the other twist, I think we all know that SML is never killing off Jeffy. And by the way, even though Jeffy isn't my least favorite character, I wish he was either a one-time character or a minor character. I feel like the show wouldn't be in this mess if Jeffy wasn't who he is now. Another problem with this episode is filler. Remember how I said the Brooklyn guy was adding unnecessary filler to the more recent videos? Well, this is no exception. He kept showing off his Hyundai Sonata while Rosalina wants to save Mario. I don't care how much you love your Hyundai Sonata, that is not the main point of the video, so just get on with it. And I feel like this episode tries too hard to be funny, which waters down the supposed tone of the plot. Oh, did I mention that Rosalina assumed that Mario left Jeffy's birthday party and called him a deadbeat dad? Yep, there she goes again assuming bad things about Mario. This certainly does not help the fact that she is not a good character. So overall, this is a very lackluster special. And they said that this was supposed to be the SML movie even though it's just short of being 38 minutes long. So this special has a twist that ruins the lore of this whole thing, unnecessary filler that doesn't fit the dark tone of the episode, and the fact that it's shorter than originally planned. Things like this is what makes me lose hope for SML. Do you know what else makes me lose hope for SML? SML movie, Cody's Bad Word. Yeah, doesn't that title remind you of something? When I first saw the title, I had a bad feeling about this episode, especially since there was another video with almost the same title called Jeffy's Bad Word, the most infamous SML video of 2016. And coincidentally, this video has a similar problem to that video. Cody gets called out for the wrong reasons, just like how Mario was called out for the wrong reasons in Jeffy's Bad Word. What does Cody do that gets him called out? He says the word N-word, which angers Junior and Joseph, causing them to accuse Cody of being racist. This is another problem that I have with these two. They keep getting offended for no reason, although this applies more to Joseph than Junior. And he better not accuse me of being racist just for saying that. But anyways, how is saying the word N-word being racist? Oh, it sounds like he is saying N-word. So what? There are other words that sound similar to others. And besides, that word sounds very different from the word you're thinking about. And this goes on and on throughout the entire episode, and I am also annoyed at how many times they say, "Wow!" Do these morons ever get tired of bullying Cody? Apparently not, because they are some of the biggest jerks on the show. Seriously, why is Cody still friends with these idiots? So anyways, I don't think there is a more fitting title than Cody's Bad Word, because this is Jeffy's Bad Word 2.0. I guess they didn't learn from that video after all, did they? This is the video that made me unsubscribe from SML. If SML is going to repeat the same mistake that they made back in 2016 and learn nothing, then that's a sign that the show is likely not getting better anytime soon. And this isn't the only time this year that they ripped off an infamous SML video from a previous year. After watching Cody's Bad Word, I said that I was going to stop watching SML, but I changed my mind about that and felt like watching new SML videos again, just to see how bad they were. And yes, the videos that came after Cody's Bad Word were just as bad as the other 2022 videos, but with a few exceptions. Now, like I just said earlier, that wasn't the first time that SML ripped off an infamous video recently. There's another video that did just that, which is SML movie, The Life of Goodman. This time, they ripped off Joseph the Millionaire from 2020, because this video involves Goodman torturing his butler chives throughout the entire video, just like how Joseph did the same thing in Joseph the Millionaire. This is one of the reasons why I said that Mr. Goodman was a worse version of Mr. Krabs. This is worse than how Mr. Krabs treats Squidward and SpongeBob, aside from episodes like Fear of a Krabby Patty. It's almost like they're trying to make the audience hate Goodman, because I don't see how Chives being tortured by Goodman for 13 minutes is supposed to be funny. But F Major's biggest fan, Demixillidian, also tortured Defragine for over an hour in the season 4 finale of The Nope Keys. How is that any different? Well, first of all, that episode wasn't meant to be funny either. It was supposed to be dramatic. Secondly, Demixillidian was meant to be the antagonist in that episode. Thirdly, at least it ended happily for Defragine. And fourthly, at least it's not boring unlike the SML movie I was talking about. So anyways, that was another example of SML making the same mistake again. In conclusion, SML just isn't as good as it once was, and I'm definitely not the only one that thinks that. Despite a handful of decent videos, I don't think SML is ever going to improve significantly. They're just gonna keep making even more videos about Junior and Joseph bullying Cody, Jeffy annoying Mario with Rosalina defending him, Black Yoshi asking Mario for money, Mr. Goodman trying to get his house payment and being greedier and meaner than Mr. Krabs, or Brooklyn Guy telling long drawn-out stories that I don't care about. The same old crap that I am getting bored of. At least there are better YouTube shows such as Battle for Dream Island, and Animate Insanity, and more. I'm thinking about checking out other plush channels such as Super Mario Richie and Crazy Mario Brothers. Alright, that is it for this rant. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more rants and salutes. See you later.